river to a valley, an ocean to a stone. The time it takes the edges to become well worn. But with your arms around me, I've never been more sure that all this time and softened lines are better than before. We're better than before. My love will not change. My love will not change. Through the years it grows, but time will hold.
Back in June, we filmed at the Paranagit National Wildlife Refuge. While we were banding geese, Rob introduced us to David, who runs the Moapa National Wildlife Refuge. Every refuge has a purpose. This one in specific is dedicated to protecting the endangered Moapa Days. They also do other things like banding birds. Today, we're going to be banding songbirds in specific, and we're going to learn about why this is so important to preserve our wildlife here in Nevada. So tell me a little bit about the importance of bird banding and why you do it here at the Moapa Refuge.
Okay, what we do here at Moapa is part of a larger program called MAPS, which is an acronym that stands for Monitoring Avian Productivity and Survivorship. And so songbird populations have been declining for decades, and we're not really sure why. There are a lot of other long-term breeding bird monitoring programs, such as the Breeding Bird Survey, where every year for decades people run the same routes and they count every bird they hear or see. And that's very useful information for identifying trends in population. So you may be hearing and seeing less of a bird or less of a specific species, but you don't know why. So what MAPS does is it provides us with vital rates, which are things like adult survival, recruitment, which just means how many of the young survive into the fall, and then their reproductive rates. And so by doing that, we can kind of pinpoint what the reasons for the declines are.
And so based on that, what are the reasons for the declines?
Typically it's loss of habitat through development or just changes in the habitat. And northerly parts of some birds' ranges, climate change, invasive species can have a very negative effect on songbirds. They really have a lot working against them.
These fish right here may be small, but they play a big role in our ecosystem. And the Moapa Wildlife Refuge is dedicated to making sure that these fish stay healthy, happy, and they don't become extinct. This place didn't always look this beautiful. It used to be an area back in the 50s where people would go swimming and hang out until a team back in 1979 established this place. And it took a lot of manpower to dig up the pools and re-put everything down, repave it so that you and I can come visit. And I have to say, throughout this whole process, it's been wonderful because I've got to work with an amazing team of biologists, of researchers, of rangers that have just done such a wonderful job keeping this place beautiful so that we can enjoy it. And it's just been a real honor to work with the refuge, and I can't brag enough about this place. So if you're ever in the area, you just go an hour away from Las Vegas, stop by, you might learn something new, and your kids or other family members would probably enjoy it as well. right, so tell me about this visitor center here.
Well, this is Moapa Valley National Wildlife Refuge. It was established in 1979. It was established as it was the first refuge established to protect an endangered fish. So the Moapa Days lives in these warm springs here. The water comes out of the ground between 86 and 90 degrees year-round, and so these fish are specialized to live in that specific environment.
That's very warm water.
Yes, it's hot. It's like bath water. And so the purpose of this refuge was to protect the dace. The main threats for dace are habitat alteration and invasive species.
So before you built the visitor center and had the team count the Moapa Days, and I know it was endangered, how many Moapa Days did they have before?
Roughly 2,000 to 3,000. That was in the early 80s. There's been a lot of habitat restoration, and then we've also had some catastrophic wildfires here that lowered the population, as well as an invasion of blue tilapia. Tilapia got into the system and started eating the dace, and we were down to around 400 individuals in 2008.
Wow, that's quite a drop.
Yeah, so we've pretty much doubled the population in the last 10 or 12 years.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So that's really good news for here to be able to have that many. And how many do you expect to have where it's no longer endangered?
Our goal is 6,000 for delisting, and these are what we call endemic species, which means they occur nowhere else in the world. So this is the only place in the world that these fish exist. So the Moapa Daces range is only about 2 miles of stream. And when you stand up on the overlook, you are overlooking the entire range of this fish. It's the only where in the world you can see it.
And it's here in Nevada.
Yep. Moved a lot of the palm trees and reconstructed the stream channels back to where they historically would have been.
Wow. Well, you guys have done a wonderful job.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
It really is. All right, now we gotta go, get the songbirds, right?
Yep.
Okay. You want to keep David mic'd up? Can you just keep him mic'd up? Ready? Oh, filming. All right, we're still rolling. Okay, move my stuff. So we caught 3 birds in this net. So I saw the excitement back there catching this songbird. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, this is a shrike. This is the first one we've caught here at the station. It's also the first one I've ever personally caught. It's also known as the butcher bird. This is a predatory songbird, so it will prey on other very small birds, mice, lizards, little snakes, grasshoppers. They will use either a thorny plant or barbed wire to impale their prey onto the thorns or onto the barbed wire.
They're that smart.
Yes, and so.
Very cool.
One of the coolest songbirds out there. I'm so excited to catch this bird. All right.
All right, let's head back to the station. His measurements. I had such a wonderful time in Moapa. I made new friends, I got to band some songbirds. I highly recommend this place for the nature enthusiasts, those who just love finding water in the middle of the desert. I'm Samantha Chion, but you can call me Sam with Spirit of Nevada. Brought to you by the Richard Harris Law Firm.